The retirement of Justice Ann Walsh Bradley on the Wisconsin Supreme Court puts the liberal majority at stake next year. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the chaos that is unfolding in the Wisconsin Supreme Court because everyone, in a massive victory for the Republican Party, liberal Justice Ann Walsh Bradley has officially announced her retirement from the state Supreme Court. Therefore, Republicans have a legitimate shot at winning back the state Supreme Court next year. Now, I'm not saying that guarantee they're going to win it, but without Ann Walsh Bradley running again as the incumbent, it gives Republicans a legitimate shot of winning. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us get into it because this was such an unexpected announcement. Granted, Ann Walsh Bradley is like 73, she was getting older, but the Supreme Court in Wisconsin is at stake now. You're not talking about a 5-2 majority, 6-1, no. It is a 4-3 liberal Supreme Court. That means if Ann Walsh Bradley's seat flips next year, the conservatives would then have the majority. And that's why this was such a shocking announcement. I mean, you're not talking about, oh, it's just one seat, whoop-de-doo. You're talking about the Wisconsin Supreme Court flipping if conservatives win next year. Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Ann Walsh Bradley announced Thursday she would step down at the end of her term next spring, putting the liberal majority on the pivotal swing state's highest bench at stake. The April 2025 election to replace Bradley promises to be an expensive and bitter race and will likely feature many of the same momentous issues, like abortion rights and redistricting, that define a 2023 Wisconsin Supreme Court race that ultimately gave liberals their first majority on the bench in 15 years. I actually disagree with this. Why? Redistricting was dealt with, at least at the legislative level. I mean, the Republicans made new maps for the state Senate, the state House. That's not going to be an important issue then. Well, it could be where Republicans make a new map to make it more favorable, but I highly doubt that redistricting is going to be the key issue. Same thing with abortion, because the liberals on the majority already basically gutted the abortion law in Wisconsin. So, is it really going to be the most important issues? I doubt it. Granted, we are a year away, so things could change, I guess, but I don't think it's going to be based on abortion or redistricting. I highly doubt it. In a statement, Bradley, who is 73, said she would not run for a fourth 10-year term on the court, saying it was a good time to bring fresh perspectives to the court. AKA, I'm getting too old for this. That's what it really is about. She's just getting too old, but I still would have thought that she would have ran one more time and then retire right away, but I guess they don't want to risk that backfiring where they have a special election and somehow Republicans win it. I guess that's what they're fearing, so they're thinking, okay, Bradley, you just retired now, so we don't risk that happening in, say, 2026, 2027. My decision has not come lightly. It is made after careful consideration and reflection. I know I can do the job and do it well. I know I can win re-election should I run, but it's time to pass the torch, wrote Bradley, who was elected to the technically nonpartisan court in 1995. Now, I'm starting to wonder if the Democrats told her, just retire. Our internals show you losing or something crazy, or they don't want to risk it. Like, she dies halfway through her term, or she has a health concern, whatever it is. I guarantee you Democrats told her, don't run. That's what really happened here. Because Democrats, they stay in office until they physically cannot serve. Look at Feinstein from California. They kept forcing her out to the Senate just to have a single vote. They would do everything to keep the majority on the Supreme Court, but they must have realized either their internals are so bad, or she's just getting too old and they don't want to risk it. I think that's what's happening here. Because Democrats are known for staying until they physically cannot serve any longer. But suddenly now, with the Supreme Court on the line, oh, I gotta resign, or I should say retire. The election for Bradley's seat will come 2 years after liberal Janet Protasiewicz defeated conservative Dan Kelly in what was the most expensive state Supreme Court race in U.S. history and one of the most closely watched elections of 2023. And we know Dan Kelly ran a pretty bad campaign. Protasiewicz won because Kelly's campaign sucked. They told Trump to go F himself. They tried to make the race about, like, crime or something, which, yeah, it helps you in Kenosha and parts of Milwaukee, fine, but the rest of the state, crime wasn't the number one issue. They tried to be nonpartisan about it, while Protasiewicz was openly partisan. Yeah, I got the Democrats backing me. Yeah, I got $30 million from them, or whatever it was. That's how she won. And Republicans gotta realize, don't run the Dan Kelly campaign. You gotta run as an open partisan for this seat. The race was largely defined by Protasiewicz's support for abortion rights and opposition to the state's heavily gerrymandered legislative maps, two issues that were set to come before the court. During the campaign, conservatives criticized Protasiewicz for having taken public stances on divisive political issues. Following her win, some Republicans in the state threatened her with impeachment. And that didn't go anywhere. But that's how she won. She wasn't pretending to be bipartisan like Dan Kelly was. Now, I thought that was going to help Kelly, but I should have realized this isn't 2002 where, oh, people love bipartisanship. No, they want open partisans in these seats. That's a reality. You want Republicans to vote for you? Be an open partisan. Protasiewicz won because she was running as the Democrat. Dan Kelly was, well, I'm bipartisan. Yes, I have conservative morals, but I'm the bipartisan guy. No one cares. Who do you think's gonna win? The open partisan in a 50-50 state, or the guy pretending to be bipartisan? The open partisan's gonna win. And that's what happened. Now, I do want to talk about the 2025 Wisconsin Supreme Court election because, in my opinion, of all the upcoming races, whether it's the Senate race this year, whether it's the governorship in 2026, Secretary of State, whatever, of all the statewide races, I consider this to be the most important. Outside of the presidency, which is a separate ordeal, this is must win for the Republican Party. They cannot lose this race because this might be the best chance at winning back the majority. Now, Republicans still have an uphill battle, but unlike 2023 when we had two clowns running, Jennifer Doro wouldn't have won. Stop pretending she would have. She would have gotten crushed. There were a lot of scandals involved with her. She wasn't going to win. Dan Kelly, in my opinion, was the best option. But I never thought he was going to win. I thought that he was going to lose, but not by the amount he did. Either way, Republicans got to be smart in 2025. They have to run someone good. In my opinion, they have a good candidate this time around. And his name is Brad Schimel, who I consider to be an excellent recruit for the Republicans and arguably the best option they got for 2025. Now, for those that don't know who this guy is, he was the former Attorney General of Wisconsin, and not, someone from 50 years ago or whatever. No, this guy was Attorney General as late as 2019. He was the Attorney General when Scott Walker was still governor, at least his second term. This guy is amazing. He was a good Attorney General. He's currently a judge of the Waukesha County Circuit Court, and I think he's the best option. Because not only was he a good Attorney General, I mean, he was phenomenal. He was conservative. He knew what he was doing. He understood, okay, I actually got to do something. I can't just sit here. But he's won statewide races before. He had to, in fact. In 2014, he won by 6 points. Granted, it was a red wave. But in 2018, during a blue wave, Schimel nearly won. Granted, he lost by half point, but take a guess who ran third party. The Constitution Party. The party that siphons off way more votes from the Republicans than Democrats? If it wasn't for the Constitution Party, Brad Schimel would still be the Attorney General. So, He's won statewide before. He has name recognition. He barely lost in a blue wave. He knows how to run a campaign. He's well known within the Republican Party, well liked in fact. And he's already running a campaign. He's already announced like a month ago. This is a good option for the Republican Party. Tell everyone else that's considering to run, go away. We're going behind Brad Schimel. He's our best candidate. He has a chance of winning. Now, how can he actually win Wisconsin in 2025? In my opinion, be an open partisan. Do what Protasewicz did. You know, hey, I'm the open partisan here. Vote for me. I would have Trump barnstorming the state for you. I really would. This was a big mistake on Dan Kelly's part. He told Trump to not intervene, not to get involved, stay as far away as possible from Wisconsin. And he did. And he got crushed because of it. I really think if he runs as the open partisan, he can win. He absolutely can win. Plus, the issue of abortion and redistricting is not going to be as big as it was in 2023 because the Supreme Court of Wisconsin has already decided, oh wait, these maps are rigged and that the abortion law from 150 years ago, that's illegal. This is a good opportunity for the Republican Party, but they gotta be smart. They cannot have a divisive primary like they did in 2023. They gotta get behind Schimel. Give him money, by the way. This was another thing the Dan Kelly campaign refused to use. There's a loophole in Wisconsin law that effectively allows the parties to give infinite money to statewide candidates. How do you think Janet Protasewicz was able to have tens of millions of dollars? Yes, she was a good fundraiser, but the Democrat Party of Wisconsin just kept giving her as much money as she needed. While Wisconsin Republicans, or at least the Dan Kelly campaign, didn't want any of that. I mean, think about that. Free money, and apparently the Dan Kelly campaign said, no, we don't need the money. What? That's a stupid strategy. And I would assume that Brad Schimel, who is an open partisan, I mean, he ran for the Attorney General seat as a Republican. I assume he's going to work with the Republican Party way more than Dan Kelly did. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.